Good morning, everybody. Thanks you for joining us for our February webinar. This is an interesting one. Paula, my co-conspirator in our community practice, recommended this one. Hopefully she'll show up in a little later. She sometimes is running a little late. But we like this one because it was quick and easy, and we hoped it would generate a lot of conversation. AI has been a very hot topic. If you aren't aware of it, there are a lot of great AI resources out there for SUNY. Um, I will showcase some of them after I get to the end of this introduction, just so you have them. Lots of great things are out there. Lots of people starting to get their AI licenses with the Microsoft Copilot costs going down from $30 a month to $18 a month per user, and us renewing a lot of our Microsoft products here last fall. So some interesting things going on, and we're hoping that maybe this will make um, project management a little bit easier for all of you. One of the big complaints we've always had is that project management is very time consuming, and that's why a lot of people skip it. And so maybe with all of these different AI tools out there, we can make it a little bit easier, and then maybe it'll be more appealing to people. So, all right. I'm not reading. If you're new here, this is what we are. We have lots of monthly webinars, discuss things, do a lot of training opportunities, try to just make project management better in the SUNY space. So, and these slides are available with the recording, and they are all completely checked for accessibility too. So this is me, and this is Paula. Paula is one of our instructors for our project management fundamentals class. She is a former SUNY grad and also worked at New Paltz at one time. She's now at the College of Westchester. She is a certified PMP, lots of great things. And she also is an instructional designer and a faculty member at Westchester. So a lot of great things out there for Paula. Plus, she worked in the industry before. So I am a former software engineer, so I have a lot of experience with Microsoft Project and using that on large scale projects. I used to work for the United States government through Lockheed Martin. So lots of great project management experience here. So what are we doing today? Like I said, we're going to do AI tools for project management. This is a video from PMI. It was super quick, 7 minutes. So we thought we would ask everybody to watch it ahead of time and then start to get some ideas and tell us how you're using it or how you might be using it. So if you didn't watch it ahead of time, don't worry about it. We're going to watch it now as well. I'm going to stop it after each one of the different things, and we're just going to have some discussion. And I am keeping a Word document, which I'll show here in a moment, that you should all have access to so that you can use it. The tips that are in there now are from Copilot. I uploaded the transcript from from the YouTube video into Copilot and had us give us a brief description so that we can understand it. But I want to add our stuff to it, like how people are using it or how you may use it. And then we'll distribute this Word document as well so everybody can use it and think about it and share it if they like with other people in their community. So we were just talking, Lori and I, about task paralysis. That's my big thing that I use AI for, is it jump starts me because sometimes I don't want to do anything for a long time because I don't know how to start, and AI has been very helpful with that. So some really great stuff out there. So we have a couple different things coming up. We do meet once a month on the fourth Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. We have a speaker for March and I think a speaker for April. We had some really great presentations that happened at Wizard in November of last year here in Syracuse, one of our technical conferences. And we also have a couple people that volunteered to speak about different case studies and things like that. So more information will be coming for those out so that you have them. We do take the month of May off just because CIT happens the week, and a lot of our people are at CIT. This year it is at Stony Brook University. Registration isn't open, but when you get these links, you'll be able to click on them and it'll take you to the website. We believe registration should be opening this week. So we're just getting some final things set up. It's going to be really interesting. Great information. I know they have a very full schedule. We've got one of the most abstract submissions that we've ever gotten for CIT post-COVID. So some really great stuff. So if you're in the Stony Brook area or you can travel, I highly recommend this conference. We'll also be posting some stuff about STC as well in here in the next couple months, which happens in June for those of you who are of a technical nature. We do have some classes coming up right now. We have Project Management Fundamentals. Those are the 3 dates. Registration for the March 4th and March 11th class will close on Monday. So if you're interested in getting into that, or anybody you know is interested in getting into that, feel free to register quickly. Lots of different options out there. We also have the one on the 20th and the 27th, and then one in April and the 16th. Our advanced project management class, which is a follow-up to our project management fundamentals class, is scheduled to go in May. A registration should be opening soon for that. So we do have the dates. We just are finishing up the registration and we'll be announcing that soon as well. Of those of you who have recently completed a class in project management fundamentals and haven't attended the advanced project management class yet, we usually send you out an invite to come with a little bit of a discount. So it kind of builds on that. It was built as a class, as feedback from our project management fundamentals class. So um, before I finish up with this, does anybody have any questions or anything you want to ask me? All right. Well, this is our Word document. I see a bunch of you are in here. I'll also throw the share link back in there for you so you have it. I'm going to throw that in the chat. So all of you are welcome to come in here. This is a collaborative document. Feel free to put your stuff in here, your ideas. I'm going to take notes as we talk. But if you think of something, feel free to do it. This is, like I said, this is what Copilot came up with for me when I did a transcript from YouTube. It was pretty easy. I will let you know I have a 365 license, but many of you may not. You can still do this in Copilot Chat, which most of you should have access to. And a lot of the stuff you can do in Copilot Chat is pretty easy. It'll generate documents for you and things like that. We do have a whole mess of resources on our website that I want to bring you to. So on our CPD main page, we do have a bunch of different things. These are our hot pages with our hot topics right now. EIT continues to be a hot topic. So if you're working in that space, lots of great resources here. If you're a presenter, lots of great resources here as well. Those have been put up for our different conferences that are coming up so people know how to present in an accessible format. But this is the one that I wanted to showcase for you. These are our different AI resources. So if you're in the faculty space, lots of great things that are out there talking about faculty using AI from Fact2 and DIS. So lots of awesome things out there. We do have the Google certificates. So system administration bought licenses to the Coursera Google certificates. I apologize, this will be fixed. So if you're interested in taking those courses, these are really cool. They are specific to Gemini, but with that being said, they've got a lot of great general information. And I apologize, this is taking forever. Oh, and there it goes, of course, as soon as I did it. So let's go back. Let's see if I can get it to come up. So lots of great things in there. One of the best things in there is how to build a prompt. So prompt engineering really is the greatest thing that you really have to master to get good stuff out of it. But we also have some stuff on Microsoft Copilot. We do have free classes for anybody that's faculty or staff through our Microsoft ESI. There's some different resources here as well. And I also sent out the AI Legal Institute at SUNY that's talking about AI. And that is here, and you can take a look at that as well. So lots of great free classes and stuff that you can take a look at. But these are the 2 Google courses that you can take. So just wanted to point all that stuff out so that you have it. And then we can get started. All right. I need to reshare. I apologize because I don't think I shared with audio. Okay, I'm going to press play. Can someone just give me a thumbs up or a yes if you can hear this audio? Can you hear that?
Yes.
Perfect. right. Let's start it off. So we're going to watch it and then we're going to stop it and we're going to discuss. So feel free if you don't want to come off mute or come on camera for the recording. That's perfectly fine. We understand privacy. Put it in the chat. I'll be happy to read it off for you. All right, here we go.
Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the world of project management. Imagine having a tool that automates routine tasks, strengthens decision-making, and even improves team collaboration. Sounds incredible, right? In today's video, we're exploring 10 AI tips every project manager should know. Whether you're new to project management or a seasoned pro, leveraging AI can take your projects to the next level. But before we dive in, I want to mention an AI tool that every project professional should know about: PMI Infinity. PMI Infinity is an AI-powered assistant grounded in a knowledge base of vetted content and cited sources. Whether you're solving agile team estimating challenges, gathering requirements for a complex project, or integrating business analysis into planning, PMI Infinity is trained on expert input to provide valuable answers. Try it out using the link in the description.
So I do want to caveat that PMI Infinity is a free tool that you can use inside if you're a PMI member. The one thing that I will say about that is that it is not protected. So you cannot put SUNY protected information in there. I haven't played around with it yet because I'm not a PMI member, but I believe other people have. And if you have, feel free to give us your experience in the chat or come off mute. But I do want to caveat that please make sure that you are not putting SUNY protected data in there, because that information that you put in there is being used to train that large language model that PMI is using. You can always kind of, anonymize it and put your information in there, and it can give you some starts and stuff like that. But I do want to make sure that I put that caveat in. So we'll keep going.
AI can help you from the very beginning. It can assist in developing project plans by analyzing requirements and past project data to suggest optimal timelines and workflows. Save time by using AI to draft an initial project plan that includes key milestones and deliverables with tools like Monday.com and Wrike. Then you can refine your plan and make sure that it's comprehensive and realistic. It also frees up your time for strategic decision-making. As AI handles routine tasks, project managers can shift their focus to asking the right questions and exploring better approaches to solving problems.
So has anybody used this before? Jake, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, thanks, Kris. So I do things like this pretty frequently, and it manifests in different ways. One example recently is I was given sort of an ad hoc project that I had to tackle, which was it was really like instituting a change control process on the fly, and I actually particularly recently flip the dynamic from what they're saying in that video. I don't ask the questions or look for pathways necessarily. What I'll often do is I will regurgitate instead of typing, I will just talk at, I usually use ChatGPT. I'll talk at it, and recently I've been asking it to interview me to help work through things that I may have missed because I get stuck in my own mental models and my own biases. And there's been a couple of instances in which it's helped me, for example, figure out how to pivot quickly from just putting together a risk register into like, all right, like what other resources do I actually need to make this change control process, this, like one-time thing happen smoothly? Or a different situation is I've got an existing process right now that is complicated, difficult, painful, all the bad stuff that you can imagine. And I've been having it interview me to help me rethink and approach the problem from a different angle, and it's been super beneficial.
Yeah, I know I've used it personally, just creating emails and different things like that. and I don't necessarily talk to it, but I type through it and talk to it conversationally and say and pretty much ask it, what am I missing? What do you think I should be asking here? What information should be included in this email? What information it could be going that way? I do see Lena came off mute too. Did you want to add something, Lena?
No, but I love that idea of telling it to interview you because then it's going to ask questions that I didn't think of. I love that. Thank you for
Hmm.
sharing it.
It also
Yeah, that's
helps to control some of like its sycophantic nature, a little bit. Like that's something that I'm always on the lookout for. I'll ask it sometimes to rate how sycophantic it's being towards me, and how much it's just blowing hot air at me.
mhm.
And the interview, it changes the dynamic. It's like giving more confidence toward in the machine's output a little bit.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah. How else have you guys all used this? Has anybody used the tip one at all? I'll remind you what it is in case you miss it. Hold on. It is using it to use AI to develop initial project plans.
I mean, we're
Develop.
lucky if we do project planning, let alone getting it that
Yep.
organized. But it seems like now we could have it organized, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I like it. So I
Kris,
don't know about, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I am using it. We co-pilot our planning meetings. We've started to do planning meetings with the technical team. And then I take those meetings, the transcripts, and I put them in and I ask it to add to my milestones, add to my deliverables, think about risks that we may be facing that we're not aware of. And it does a really nice job. I mean, you have to proofread everything, but it's really helpful to me.
So what are you using for your project management software? Are you
We
using,
use we use Team Dynamics.
okay. And will it interact directly with Team Dynamics, or are you kind of doing a cut and paste?
I haven't figured that out. What I'm doing is creating Word documents. The scope is a Word document, and I end up storing it in the team that we're using for that project so that everybody has access to it. And then we store it in Team Dynamics as one source of truth when it's complete. The only problem with Team Dynamics is when you go look at a document in the briefcase, you have to download it every time. You can't just view the document. So
Okay.
that's a pain.
Okay. Andrea, you had your hand raised?
Yep. We use it here. So typically we'll get an intake form for a new project, which has minimal information, and then I'll throw it into Copilot with our project plan template and just have it conversationally back and forth, like, okay, outline the goals, outline the milestones, and it definitely helps populate those things that I would typically spend a lot of time spinning my wheels on.
Nice. Jake?
Thanks. Something just when you were talking about documents and TDX, a lot of our mental model around using LLMs and agents is us going to them. But I noticed recently, for those of you that have full Office 365 suite, in SharePoint, there are now integrated agents that you can build per folder, per document. So if you're storing, and you can connect resources together. So if you're storing documents and using SharePoint as a resource management tool, you can build agents that you can integrate them with Teams chats. You can have them summarize things. You can have them perform actions. So just sort of throwing that out there as another way to leverage the tools.
Yeah, those are just the agents are really nice. You do need to make sure with your IT department that you are licensed for that to do it, and that depending on how you're using it, it can have an added cost. We've talked to our Microsoft people a couple times about that in some of our webinars that I'll showcase when I send out the follow-up. But yeah, there are some really great things out there. One of my coworkers just created an agent to check accessibility for us. So there are some really nice things out there. So. Okay. We've had some really great discussion. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to move on to number 2.
AI can automate repetitive tasks, such as scheduling meetings, generating reports, and sending reminders. This allows you to focus on more strategic aspects of your projects. Imagine using an AI tool to automatically generate weekly status reports from project data.
So I think this one's pretty much probably everybody's, if they're doing AI or using some of this stuff. Can somebody give me an example of how you're using AI to automate those tasks? I can give you my best one, which is I don't take notes any longer. We actually switched in our office to making our weekly check-in a meeting in a channel, and we have an agent that goes through and just does all of our notes for us. And yes, we have to go in and play around with them. We do also, one of the tips that I like to say about this is we add our agenda. We say using this agenda and the transcript give us what we want. That helps. We do a lot of personal talk at the beginning before we get started, just because we're a fully remote team and we don't see each other very often. So that kind of eliminates that sort of stuff and makes it a little bit more concise, so you don't have to do as much editing at the end. But that definitely is one of my favorite things to do. What other tips do you guys have? Things you can AI can automate for you so that it can make it easier. Does anybody have anything that you're using or thinking about using?
I mean,
It's interesting to think of. Go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry,
Lori.
it's a no.
That's okay.
I mean, it's so funny. I've used this in my personal life to do things. My daughter's getting married, and we've done all of our wedding planning with AI as our wedding coordinator, which is amazing.
Uh-huh.
But I have not applied it at work. I don't know why. I feel silly now.
We're looking at trying to find ways to automate less project management processes and more instructional design processes. I'm a project coordinator for a group of instructional designers, and one of our major uh, boundary or barriers is getting the model access to the data that we want it to have access to, and getting it in the right, like having it needs to have access to the right data pool to do useful things. And so far I haven't, like I do a whole lot of automated communications. We support the revision and development of 150 plus courses a term. So there's all sorts of automated communications that go out, but I'm using another platform to do those sorts of communications versus something like AI.
All right. I'm interested to see if anybody's
Which,
doing
to
it for
tease that, you'll learn
generating.
more about in April when I present here.
Yeah. Anybody using it for generating reports or anything? Like at least starting a report, it's looking at a status document in some sort of format, and then you're creating a report or an email that will be going out or being posted somewhere. That's an interesting thought.
I can kind of speak to, I've used it for helping me with Power BI DAX calculations when we do some of our printer reporting.
Okay.
That's kind of been helpful. I kind of tell it, these are the parameters, or if I already have an existing DAX calculation, how do I fix this one so that it adds something to it that I need? That's been a pretty good one.
Same page. I use it
Cool.
to write code for Smart Suite / Excel, things like that. I can vibe code something in 30 minutes that would take me 3 weeks.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. We are transitioning to Team Dynamics right now too, and you can use the HTML modules. And I've just been saying, when I want a custom module, what I need it to do, and then adjusting from there.
Yep. Be very careful. Sometimes it'll come back with bad stuff, though, as a
Oh
software
yeah.
engineer by trade.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. All right, let's go on. Let's do tip number 3. See how we can streamline communication.
AI tools can assist in drafting emails, summarizing meetings, and translating documents, ensuring clear and consistent communication across the team. Use AI in tools like Grammarly and Otter.ai to create summaries of long meetings and send them to all stakeholders. This keeps everyone informed without needing to sift through lengthy meeting notes.
So this one personally, I'm just going to speak to, and I'm going to show you my teams here. Let's see here. This is a meeting I ran in Teams recently for my SUNY Tech Talks, for those of you who are in my technical audience. And I have an Office 365 license. The Teams premium license comes with Office 365, but you can also purchase just a Teams premium license by itself. And I highly recommend that for anybody who's running a lot of Teams meetings. This is the recap that it gives me. And there's some very interesting data in here I want to share with you all. This I find really interesting. It actually gives me the information about who spoke and kind of when they spoke, so you can kind of see that information. It also will generate topics and how long those, so if you wanted to turn these into chapters, similar to how we are the chapterizing, it happens in YouTube. And you can see the chapters here with the times and the pictures. So depending on what you're looking for, it can be really interesting. This is the AI summary that it gives me. Now, if you have slides, it'll actually put the slide captures next to it. These are kind of the high overview and the timestamps. It also goes into more and more information here as well. So it's really cool. These would be notes that if I took them, they would be there. These are mentions, so if there's any mentions of yourself, and then of course there's the full transcript that you can get. It'll give me an audio recap, which is really nice. It also gives me attendance, which is really nice. Now I don't have to take attendance myself. And this happens to be a meeting that is a reoccurring meeting, so you can kind of see all the different things that are coming on. I didn't get my license until this one, so I don't think my recaps will be as nice for the previous ones. But I just wanted to share that with you. And I know that the AI in Zoom is really nice as well. Lots of great things in there. Is anybody doing any of these communications and documents differently? Are you doing anything special that you could give us a hint about?
You need the full license for that, right?
That you either need the Teams premium license or a
Right.
365 license. So
Yeah.
the Teams premium is included. So you can get the Teams premium license, which is cheaper.
Okay. So we don't, only myself and one other person have the full licenses that would allow us to do that, I think.
Hmm.
But I know that I appreciate them when I participate in meetings where someone else has it.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. It is a little limited. I will tell you that like I participate in a lot of meetings outside my own tenant. It only works for meetings that are inside my own tenant. It won't let me like because I participate in a lot of COA meetings and I can't get that sort of stuff from there with my license for data protection reasons. But it is very, very helpful for me personally who runs a lot of meetings. And I tend to provide the Copilot generated notes for people when I do download so that they can actually see if there's something specific, those timestamps, they can go right to that spot in the recording instead of having to watch the whole entire thing. So that could be helpful. I can see in project management meetings. Does anybody else have any other tricks or tips you're using for communication and documentation?
I don't do it all the time. We have like here at SUNY Update IT, we have like our own kind of like a homegrown project management tool, uh,
Mhm.
and uh, and I'm guilty of it too. We're all required to put in like weekly status updates, and sometimes a lot of us, including myself, will be like, "I was still working on it," but what they really want to try to do is have this platform available like across the hospital and like kind of more like an executive level audience. So sometimes, if I'm running out of time, I'll just type a simple update, but then put it in Copilot and be like, hey, can you enhance it and add more details for an executive level audience? And then I then have to copy and paste it back.
Mhm. Yep, I've done that before. Rick says I recently ran a search committee. I used AI to make sure that the messaging was complete and concise. That's a great way to use it. Yeah. Anybody else have any ideas? All right, we'll keep going.
AI can process large data sets quickly, providing insights and trends that might not be immediately apparent. This helps you make informed decisions. Use AI with tools like Microsoft Power BI or Tableau to analyze past project data and identify patterns that lead to project delays. Many organizations use AI to analyze project data and optimize their operational efficiency. By understanding these trends, you can implement strategies to avoid similar pitfalls in the future.
This one is really interesting to me because I feel like, and you guys can agree with me or not disagree with me. I feel like once the project is done, a lot of times we've got so many more things we need to do, and we just rush onto those, and we don't necessarily do our recap or figure out why a project did what it did. And that really could help us on future projects. So having AI start that process and make it faster is a very interesting thing to me. Go ahead, Jake.
Thanks. So less project analysis, data analysis, and more other kind of data analysis. We have a large team of instructional designers, and we have a complicated, 60 whatever point checklist for course quality that we follow. And norming a large team on a complicated tech checklist is a really long process. So what we did this year was we had folks fill out the checklist, but then leveraged ChatGPT to do the analysis for us, find patterns, and which compressed what can take weeks into a fraction of that time. And that was, it wasn't just quantitative data of what was met, what was not met in terms of the items on the checklist, but also the feedback, the narrative feedback that was provided. It was able to pick out themes there too. So pretty useful for compressing the timeline of that process.
That sounds awesome. Anybody else have anything they want to mention about that? Has anybody tried it or thought about trying it?
So we keep all of our projects. I run a PMO here at University at Buffalo, and we keep all our projects and their statuses in a Microsoft list. So I've kind of taken that data into Copilot to analyze, what is the typical length of a project? Who are most projects, like who's the biggest sponsor for these projects? What areas do we work with the most? So I've kind of done a little bit of that analysis.
Okay, cool. Anybody else want to make any comments? Okay, we'll keep going.
AI can help identify and analyze potential risks by processing historical data and current project conditions. Tools like RiskLens and RiskWatch leverage AI to predict and rank project risks based on similar past projects and current project parameters. This proactive risk management allows you to address issues before they become critical, making for smoother project execution.
That one is very interesting to me. When I was a software engineer, I worked for Lockheed, I worked for the government, and we used to do projects, and risks were always a tough one. I've been on many projects that about halfway through, uh, either got canceled 100% because of the money or budgets, or I got reallocated to something else to come back later, but never made it back, and things like that. So using AI to optimize and learn about risks is very interesting. Is anybody doing anything like this? Has anybody tried anything?
Yeah, I mean, just mentioning what I mentioned earlier, that I used it to build a risk register, which was great.
Okay. I find this interesting, especially if you're using a public large language
We
module and
have an
you're,
enterprise account with ChatGPT
yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was going with if can access, I don't know, different news articles about vendors, and it can access different statements that vendors have put out about certain things or what's going on in the climate with tariffs and things like that. It might be able to speak to future risks depending on that.
And it
Um,
depends on what model you're using. If you use something like Google's Notebook LM, you have much more leverage to constrain the resources that it's using to make its considerations and assessments. So like if you have particular resources that you're like, all right, I'm going to feed you a bunch of stuff, but then also like look at all this information too, but you don't want it to look at anything else, something like Notebook LM is great for that.
Yep. Yeah. Rick says they've used AI to assist with creation of policies, which included conversation about AI and risk tolerance levels. Kind of an interesting thought. All right, we'll keep going.
AI can help in planning and allocating resources more effectively by analyzing project needs and resource availability. Use AI to match team members with tasks that best fit their skills and availability. Tools like MavenLink and Smartsheet provide AI-driven resource management capabilities. That will maximize productivity and help you make the most efficient use of resources.
Wow, now we're kind of getting into the advanced stuff. We kind of went from the beginner to the moderate. Now we're getting the advanced stuff. Resource allocation. This is an interesting thought. Probably one of the things that we here at SUNY struggle with at times. I mean, we only can have so many people doing so many things. And along with Mergen's idea of what somebody's working on weekly, this is kind of an interesting thought to use it to optimize your resources, whether they be people, as in staff or physical materials or things like that. Anybody tried anything like this? Or anybody have any thoughts about how this could be helpful? Especially with workload?
We do have the Planner 3 license, and I believe there's some resource allocation functionality there as far as like portfolio management. I could definitely see this in my area. We have, there's 4 of us project managers, so kind of a new project comes in, I like to see, who's working on what and who has the bandwidth for potentially taking on a new project. So I could definitely see it helpful. I haven't played around with it yet, but interested to learn more.
Yeah. Laura, you came off mute. Did you have something to add?
Well, it's interesting. I think a lot about workload, mostly because for many of us, it's gotten crazier, right? And resource allocation for projects really becomes who has the knowledge and a little bit of time to devote to this project. We are not great at determining can we finish a project in this time when everybody's so busy. So I'm always looking for ways to improve how we do projects. This may be a good way to say, in order to get this task done, the project is estimated that you need this many hours. So kind of giving the employee or the manager an opportunity to say, yeah, well, Dave has that time, but really not until May because he's working on these other 2 things.
You also mentioned something about not only do they have to have the time, but you have to have the knowledge. So now, how can AI help us with knowledge transfer? If we can throw everything we know about certain projects that we've run in the past into a SharePoint and create an agent that can read a summary to us and talk to us and help us find what we're looking for, maybe it's a lot easier to spin somebody up to actually work on it, even if they haven't had the experience in the past, get them to the level where they feel comfortable enough to start working on it and discover more information out there. Go ahead, Jake.
Just to say that the nature of the project matters a lot too. We always struggle in our work to define how long it takes to do certain tasks because designing courses and collaborating with subject matter experts is so heavily in a difficult area to measure the time load. So I would love to be able to do things like this, but the nature of the projects that I manage, it's not yet anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, saying that, like I said, you almost have to build up your repository with a lot of examples and then let AI into that repository only and then learn from it. And then it can actually be helpful. So maybe we're still at the point where due to the nature of what we work on being a little bit unique. We're not working on construction projects normally. We're not working on software projects normally. Maybe as we build that up, we can find future use in it. So maybe it's an investment that we need to make. All right, last tip.
AI can provide decision support by offering data-driven insights and suggesting potential outcomes for different scenarios. Apply AI tools like Motion or Hive to simulate various project timelines and identify the most efficient path to project completion. This helps in making informed decisions that align with project goals.
That's an interesting thought. I know, like some of you were saying, using Power BI and Tableau, giving you the information to make the decisions. That's an interesting one. Has anybody kind of fed anything into there that and had AI give them advice or help them when it comes to projects? I haven't. I don't really have anything yet. This, like I said, now we're getting into the real advanced stuff. So here we go. Let's keep going.
AI can aid in budget planning and tracking by analyzing spending patterns and predicting future expenses. Use AI to monitor project expenses in real time and flag potential cost overruns early. Tools like Clio and Profix offer AI-driven cost management solutions. This proactive approach helps you keep the project within budget and avoids financial surprises.
That's another interesting one. Cost is real important to us here at SUNY. We're working with limited budgets. I'm wondering what we could do putting different spreadsheets into Excel and having Excel compare them to other things and see what actually could, what we need to worry about, where we can make up for it, things like that. Has anybody tried anything like that? Paige says used it to help analyze printer usage and volume to inform our printer replacement plan. That's a good one. Yeah. Okay, we'll keep going.
AI can help manage project knowledge by organizing documents, extracting key information, and providing easy access to relevant data. Implement an AI system like Coveo or Kira to categorize and retrieve project documents quickly. This will give all team members access to the information they need when they need it, improving overall project efficiency. With streamlined access to information, teams can work more cohesively.
Anybody tried anything like this? Go ahead, Jake.
This is probably my favorite use case that I've used it for thus far. Again, I mentioned I'm central to a lot of projects, and it makes it really difficult for me to take time off as a result because they're dependent on me. So what I did was I worked with ChatGPT to develop a standard operating procedure for the tasks that I do. I then fed that into and created an agent that basically acted as Jake when Jake's on vacation. So there were two folks that took my place while I took a 2-week vacation, and they were able to ask it. So I've got this situation. Someone just said a quality assurance review check is done. What do I do next? And it allowed them to ask questions in the way that they are in their brain and have the machine output it into process-oriented, okay, here's the next steps that you take. And it really allowed me to have minimal impact. It allowed minimal impact on day-to-day operations and let me go to Nova Scotia. So it's definitely recommend it as a use case. And it doesn't even have to be when you're out of the office. It can just be a general chat support, kind of bot.
That's a very interesting thing. Anybody else have any other cases or anything they've used it for? Okay. Last tip.
AI tools can help teams collaborate by providing platforms for virtual meetings, document sharing, and real-time communication. Use an AI-powered collaboration tool like Slack or Microsoft Teams to manage project documents and facilitate virtual team meetings. But AI doesn't stop there. It also revolutionizes brainstorming and idea generation. Generative AI tools can jumpstart brainstorming sessions by generating initial ideas, allowing your team to focus on refining and improving these concepts. That saves time and elevates the quality of ideas produced. By leveraging AI, you can enhance your project outcomes and drive success in your projects. Are there any important AI tools we missed? Let us know in the comments. Ready to take your project management skills to the next level? Join the PMI community today. With access to our extensive resources, certifications, a global network of professionals, and, of course, PMI Infinity, you can elevate your career and lead your projects to success.
Okay. How about this last one? Anybody doing anything cool there? Using it for collaboration and brainstorming? I think Rick's idea for the creation of policies is kind of interesting. Anybody else have anything else that they're using it for brainstorming?
Yeah, I use it for brainstorming. I don't use it for like collaboration with others, but kind of like have it just collaborate with me. So like if I'm putting together a plan and trying to figure out which path to take and like how to put together the solution, I'll have it like I'll give it the problem and then give me a couple of options to consider. And then so I kind of use it for like for myself. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Troubleshooting. Yep. That's a good one. Rick, how does this help? It doesn't work. Help me out. Make it work. What am I missing?
As part of, again, the team dynamics transition that we're doing, you have to come up with service categories. And currently in Jira, we only have, or on our ticket page, we only have 3, and we wanted to kind of organize that better. So we used it to, based on the services that we offer, give us some extra category ideas.
That's interesting. Okay, cool. Restructure categories. That's a great one. Yep. Great. So I hope this gave you some ideas, maybe some different things for you to try. Maybe not necessarily just in project management, but in your day-to-day work. My hope is AI doesn't replace anybody. It helps enhance everybody so that you can work better and more efficient and giving you more time with your family. It's not more time at work. So your friends and family. So this is really great. I love this. I will upload my transcript to Copilot and have it add some of the different things based on our Word document. So feel free to keep accessing that Word document. And I'll also put the notes document on our main page as well, so that we can keep that. And the recording will be up in a couple days. If you think of something afterwards that you think is real interesting, we would love to have you put it in the listserv. Feel free to email it out. And look at that. Microsoft folded project for the web into Planner. Yes, that was something new. So Project Online is going away. It's going into Planner. And it's just going to be project and then Planner. That's something that they announced recently. So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for being part of the conversation. We appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for future sessions, we would love to hear them. If you want to present on something, we would love to have you. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Take care.